Imagine how scary it would be when you are slowly sinking into the water and come across the body of your dead friend. This is exactly what five young adults faced in 2005 when their adventurous trip turned into a nightmare. They were trapped in a small chamber, oxygen was running out, and there was no way out. This is the horrifying true story of the Gollum cave incident. In August 2005, the friends decided to explore an underwater cave in Y Mountain, Provo, Utah, a cave known as Cave of Death. These five people were unaware that a deadly danger awaited them inside the cave. Five people went into the cave, but only one came out. The disaster, Gollum Cave Incident. The date was August 17, 2005. A dance group of five members, while having dinner, decided to explore a secret cave near the BYU campus in Provo, Utah. This unknown cave on Y Mountain had no official name, but locals called it Gollum Cave or Cave of Death. It was discovered only a few years earlier by two people. The cave looked small and was just as dangerous. Its narrow paths and water inside made it intriguing. But the most surprising thing was an 18 by 2-inch water-filled passage that extended 18 feet. To enter the cave, one had to hike up Y Mountain. The cave entrance looked narrow and slippery, with some water at the entrance. The water inside made it even more interesting for them. At 2 a.m., the five friends hiked to the cave's entrance. Among them was Jennifer Galbraith, who had previously explored water-filled caves and convinced her friends to explore this one. The group included Ariel Singer, Blake Donor, Scott McDonald, and the fifth friend, Joseph Ferguson, who decided not to enter the cave and waited outside. By 4 a.m., they reached the cave entrance, which was so narrow that only one person could go in at a time. Jennifer went in first, followed by the others. The water inside was cold, and Jennifer, being the most experienced, led the way. A rope was tied to navigate the 15-foot path, which could help them cross the 18 by 2-inch passage. However, they didn't use the rope, increasing the risk of losing their way. An earlier explorer had reported that he too had lost his way due to not using the rope. He was about to drown, but found an air pocket where he caught his breath before escaping the cave. But for these four, this would soon become their reality. The group easily navigated the narrow paths due to Jennifer's experience, but things were about to go wrong. They couldn't find the rope, which caused them to lose their way. They were on the verge of suffocation when they found a 6-foot-wide air pocket where they could stand and breathe. Joseph, waiting outside the cave, didn't know when they would return, as they hadn't set a time for coming out. By 5:30 a.m., he became worried and entered the cave, using a flashlight to call out for them. Despite shouting, he got no response. Joseph couldn't call them on their phones, as they had left their phones with him since the cave was underwater. Scared and worried, Joseph informed their friends and families. By 6 a.m., the four friends were still inside. Joseph, in panic, called the police and gave them the location. Inside the cave, the group kept trying to find a way out, but kept getting lost. The reason for their deaths was the cave's air, which contained only 21% oxygen and 79% nitrogen. The cave, made of limestone and soil, with some plants, produced a lot of carbon dioxide. The four friends, stuck in a small air pocket, struggled to breathe. They needed to leave the cave quickly, as staying longer could lead to suffocation. But the worst part was the narrow 18.9-inch exit they had to pass through, one by one. Jennifer went first. By then, the oxygen level in the cave had dropped to 10-12%, allowing only 60 seconds of breath holding. Without the rope, Jennifer lost her way and fainted due to low oxygen, drifting to an unknown part of the cave. The others thought Jennifer had made it out successfully and began attempting to exit. But they too faced the same fate as Jennifer. The fourth friend in the air pocket grew suspicious that something had gone wrong since the others didn't call out after supposedly exiting the cave. Oxygen levels kept dropping, and the fourth friend had no choice but to leave quickly. But as soon as they tried, they faced the same fate as the others. By now, the rescue team had arrived. Knowing the danger, they first installed pipes to drain water from the cave. Being experienced, they were aware of the low oxygen levels and pumped oxygen into the cave to help the trapped friends if they were still alive. Once enough water was drained, the rescue team entered the cave, only to find the lifeless bodies of the four friends. When the families were informed, they couldn't believe it. Jennifer's father shared that Jennifer dreamed of becoming a dancer and model. But the biggest revelation came from Jennifer's mother, who said that Blake Donor was Jennifer's boyfriend. Blake, who didn't have a father, was his mother's only son. The tragic news spread nationwide, prompting the government to permanently close Gollum Cave to prevent future deaths.